Hello and welcome to our Great British Fin Friends November sightings video. November started as October had finished, with wet and windy weather throughout the British Isles. From the 4th to the 7th, a ridge of high pressure brought more settled conditions. However, this did not last long, and except for a brief interlude of calm weather on the 19th, spells of unsettled, wet and windy weather continued until the 26th. Towards the end of the month, there was a period of high pressure bringing calmer conditions once more. Inevitably, the unsettled conditions resulted in relatively few sightings, 170 of 9 confirmed species. Due to the weather, harbour porpoises clearly were greatly under-recorded during the month, although there were records from all around the British Isles. Most sightings were of small numbers of 6 or less, but in Bardsey Sound, northwest Wales, and off Point Linus, northeast Anglesey, groups numbering at least 15 were spotted at the end of November, and similar-sized groups were reported at the same time in Shetland. Bottlenose dolphins were in evidence in several parts of Britain. They were sighted at their usual haunts in Cardigan Bay and the Moray Firth. But as we have been finding in other years, groups of dolphins were reported away from these core areas, in Anglesey and around the Isle of Man in groups of up to 50 animals, whilst on the east coast they continued to be seen in groups of up to 30 off the Northumberland coast, in Teesside and off the North Yorkshire coast. There was also a sighting of 8 bottlenose dolphins off Portland Bill in Dorset on the 21st. The relatively poor coverage of offshore waters this month meant that common dolphins were almost certainly under-recorded. However, there were sightings of small groups up to 15 animals in the Hebrides, and a group of 4 was spotted off Babbacombe in South Devon. Risso's dolphins continued to be seen along the north coast of Anglesey in small groups, usually 3 or less, whilst a pod of 8 was seen off Strumble Head in Pembrokeshire, and groups of up to 12 animals in Shetland and Orkney. The sightings in the Northern Isles were in the early part of the month, whereas the Welsh sightings extended to the last week of November. There was also one sighting of 3 animals off Stour Head in Wester Ross on the 9th. There were relatively few records of white-beaked dolphin in coastal waters around Britain in winter months, so it is interesting that the species was seen in Stromness Harbour, Orkney, on the 3rd of November, although represented by just one solitary individual. In greater evidence were killer whales, with several sightings in both Shetland and Orkney. Group sizes varied between 1 and 7, and individuals were identified as from the 27th pod of the northern community. Interestingly, 2 orcas were spotted at the end of the month, much further south off Tarbert Ness in the Moray Firth. A solitary orca was also seen off South Uist on the 17th. There were several sighting reports of Minke Whales throughout the month from different parts of Britain, supporting earlier observations that at least a portion of the summer population remains in our waters during winter. Individuals were seen in the outer Moray Firth and off the North Yorkshire coast, as well as around the Isle of Man in the Northern Irish Sea. Humpback whales were seen at both ends of Britain, with up to 3 in Shetland between the 16th and the 24th, and a solitary animal off West Cornwall, seen on 2 occasions at the end of the month. Finally, a group of 3 fin whales was spotted off Peninis Head in the Isles of Scilly on the 23rd of November. Thanks for joining our sightings video, and please do share it with anyone who you think will be interested. To support our work, please visit www.adoptadolphin.org.uk. You can adopt a dolphin for just £3.50 per month. And we now have a brand new membership which is for our older audience called Sea Watcher. To find out more about this membership, please visit seawatchfoundation.org.uk.